Y'all know. What's up, my tokers, jokers, and smokers? It's your boy, Chef Rodney 117 here with another deliciously dope's Daily Chronicles. What is up, my people? Today we have some absolute heavy hitters. They're visionaries. They're visionaries where they just grew up. Yo, this is what I want to do. This is what I'm gonna do. This is how I'm gonna do it. It's two different walks of life today. Today we have a panel. We're going to talk about women in cannabis. We're going to talk about using the entire plant in cannabis. We're going to talk about, why people should be able to medicate, why they need to medicate, and things like that. Yo, this is a heavy hitting show today. Lots of information coming at you, so really don't go anywhere. You're going to want to stay tuned and listen to everything that my guests have. Now, I want to talk about Between the Rows. Real quick. Between the Rows, y'all. Boston, you don't even know what kind of golden gem you got. You know what I'm saying? You got my man Nate and my girl Avery out there just killing it. They're becoming self-sufficient. They ain't need nobody else. They got themselves. From chickens to hemp plants. They got it all, man. They got it all. And rumor has it that Averyl makes some amazing infused jams. Now, I've yet to get my hands on one of those. I've been trying since like May, but I'm sure I could probably convince her into it because I got a surprise for my guest today, so stay tuned. That's going to be pretty baller. But our first guest, oh man, I don't even know. She is a fellow Auburn American. Okay, I will say that. All right. She's on fire, literally. She was on the cover of Senti magazine. She's been interviewed by High Times magazine. She's been interviewed, dude, by like the people who write the books about cannabis. So much so that, dude, she teaches seminars. I'm gonna let her go ahead and tell you the name of the company because I also know I'm gonna butcher it. But without any other further ado, y'all, Miss Ellen Brown. Ellen, how you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Rodney. Thank you so much for having me. How
Absolutely.
are you doing?
I'm doing well, man. It's Tuesday. It's busy. A lot of things going on. Technical difficulties across the way, but it's not even an issue. As a matter of fact, speaking of not being an issue, look what I found. There she is.
Here we go.
I figured it out.
There you go. There we go. How many times did you have to Google it?
Like 12.
Okay, that's fine.
She's here.
Yeah, you learned 12 things. That's what it is. No, Averyl, I was talking about that jam earlier that that you make and stuff.
Yeah.
I want to talk more about that in a second. Thank you for doing the show. Absolutely. Ellen, the cover of Senti magazine, how did that happen?
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much. Actually, it kind of just happened by circumstance. And I think the Senti magazine cover is a great example of the importance of networking. And at the time, Dan McCarthy had worked there. I believe he still works there. And we had always seen each other at events, and he was always, seeing me as a speaker, seeing me as a panelist. And he was like, I love what you do. He's like, we're going to feature you. We're going to get you in an article someday. And this had actually gone on for, not in a bad way, but, a couple months, like, I'll see you, we'll work together, exactly, all those kinds of good things. And then he was like, hey, we have a story coming up where we want to, highlight education and veterans, and I think you'd be perfect for, the feature. So it started out as a feature, and then, the cover ended up opening up. So he was like, you know what, I'm gonna see if I can get you on the cover. So it was like, oh, we'll see. And I honestly, I didn't know I was on the cover until it happened. So it's a really wonderful thing about the importance of, networking, continuing to, build up people that you're with in this industry. So that was a compilation of a lot of fun times and conversations.
I mean, because here's the thing, and I can say this, because this is really seriously, and I noticed that in the summer, Miss Averyl's hair goes from like a brown to a light red. So we're going to include her in this Auburn American panel, if you will. But us gingers, we notice when there's another ginger around. It's like a ginger set. Well, hey, what up, fam? You know what I mean? And so you flip through, you see the articles, you see covers of everything. Yo, shout out Northeast Leaf magazine. They're killing it.
Danny Danko, absolutely. All of them.
That's my boy, Danny D. They're absolutely killing it. I love the covers, but you don't really see many gingers on covers of things. Maybe that goes back to maybe South Park making fun of them, gingivitis. That episode was hilarious. I thought it was hilarious. My friend's like, "You're not offended?" I was like, "No, I'm offended for you. You should stop." You know what I mean? Like, just no. But it's good to see a fellow ginge, in the forefront of cannabis, and that's where we're gonna leave that. I'm joking. I'm sorry.
I appreciate it, and I think for especially since this is a women panel, there are a lot of women in this industry that it's I know it's me, but just seeing another woman, or seeing a minority, or seeing a veteran, or seeing somebody that they can identify and sees themselves, I think that really helps to broaden and open up this industry. So I'm very grateful to Sensi Magazine and Dan McCarthy and everyone who was involved in giving me that opportunity, because that's what it is, an opportunity.
Speaking of badass women, I know your girl Jamie Cooper here in Michigan.
Oh, that's so wonderful.
She is a badass. She really is. This woman, you think she can't do it? She's just adding on more. She's like, don't worry, girl, boy, I got you. Don't worry, girl, sit down. It's crazy. But I was just saying a little hyper because I took a dab, y'all. I'm new to dabbing, so if I get a good one, it just launches me. Sorry. But women in cannabis, I see a lot, but I don't see enough. You understand? So let me explain a little bit why I asked the questions I'm going to ask in today's kind of panel. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, I was raised by gods and angels in the kitchen. Okay, gods being the men, if you will, and angels being the women. There's a reason I say that. The gods, they have their kind of, what's the word? Egos about them. Oh, I can end man like that. I can do this. I can do that. The angels are kind of like, yeah, but I'm gonna have to end up saving them. And so that's how it kind of always was in the kitchen. And so I've really learned that, in stressful situations, let a woman take control, because although most commonly they are portrayed as emotional, they really aren't. You understand? I've seen a lot of badass women step up and do some badass things. Speaking of badass things and badass women, look who I'm talking to. You feel me? That's where we're at with it today. Now, that leads me to my first question. Averyl, this one's for you. Before we get there, how have you been, Averyl? How have you been?
Good. It's the farm season, so we're working twice as hard to get ready for the farm season.
Oh, we got some comments. All right, I didn't even see them. Jen. Hi, Jen. Look at Jen.
Jen.
She has an amazing son, Aiden. Aiden invented, what was that? He invented the guitar pick for people without hands or something?
Yep. Well, because Aiden, I'm not good with medical stuff, but he was born with the disability. Well, not a disability, a different ability to his hand. So he developed a clip so that he could play the guitar.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool, and we're working to get him a new hand. When he was 4, he got a hand donated to him, but now he's going to be 10 here in like 2 months. And I mean, think about the growth of between 4 and 10. So The hand did some good things, but he's just outgrown it. So now we're working to build him another hand so that he can start his 10th year with a new hand. And we're really hoping to find the right person to help design it with him specifically, because Aiden, everybody's kids are super smart, but Aiden, that boy is smart. And
he's writing computer codes. Like, it's crazy.
Right? Like
he's Iron Man. That's what's happening, dude. He's Iron Man.
So we want it where he can really work with somebody one-on-one and develop the hand that works best for him. He wants to start a nonprofit so that he can help other kids and help build things. He's got his YouTube channel. I wish I knew it. I don't know YouTube, so.
Hey, Jen, go ahead and post that down below if you want everybody to take a peep at his YouTube channel. Seriously, I'll post it up so everybody can see it real quick.
He makes things and then donates them to other kids. You know, he's a good
that
kid.
That little boy right there. If I could be a 16th of the person that little boy is, I'd be a saint.
Yep.
All right. I mean, seriously, that little kid is, you know, I met him briefly just through, you know, all our dealings and meetings, and you meet people virtually now. That's what happens, you know, and I met him, and I, you know, honestly, I gave him my word, and we're going to try and get him an Iron Man hand. That's what I have not forgotten about that. You know what I'm saying?
He's a good kid. He's been up to our farm and ran the field, and he'll be back this spring and summer, and you know, so yeah, we hope to get him a good hand. So hi Jen, hi Hako, but yeah, so we're pretty much in our off season right now, getting ready for the new season to begin. You know, so it's busy.
Hi Christy. Yeah, no, so I was gonna ask, didn't you guys just get hit in the Boston area with snow, like a really like heavy?
I'm actually down on the south coast of Mass. It gets confused with the South Shore Mass, but the south coast, we're like, we make the joke that we're the armpit of Massachusetts, you know, the Cape's the fist, and we're that little armpit nestled in area right there. So we got like, I think my farm got 6 inches of slush.
I'm on the Cape. I got rain.
I would have taken the rain.
Yeah, we still got rain.
I was talking to my buddy, and he's like, yeah, I can't even leave my house. It's snow. I can't deliver, because he does deliveries, you know, down in that area. And then he just like he like posted that he couldn't do any more deliveries today because he's like, it's not safe for me. It's not safe for my workers. Like, we're just, and so I was like, yo, how's it feel though? Like, you know what I mean? Because Michigan always gets snow here. It's terrible. It's terrible. At the same time, I love it. I love it. Now, Averyl, let's talk about this jam. Let's talk about this jam. I've been trying to get my hands on some of your jam since what? April, May?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, hang on. I got something. I got an offer. I'm gonna trade you. First and foremost, do you have any jam made? That's the important question.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Do you have any blackberry?
I can make blackberry.
If you hit me blackberry, I'll tell you what I'll do in a second. If you can give me some blackberry, magnifique. Blackberry is my favorite. I've been trying to get this fucking jam since like April. Okay, it's a big deal to me as a chef. It's just like, yo, hey, you know, terpenes, the whole nine. So here's what I'm gonna do. Hello, Kels. I clicked the wrong thing. Damn. I'll zoom back out. Hey, that's magical. So, Motivated. Okay? This company right here. This is for women, by women. It's in Michigan. Okay? They have agreed for me to send you guys some merch if Averyl sends me some jam.
Well, I can definitely talk to you about getting something out to you guys. And I actually have quite a bit of blackberries left from this wild harvest this season, because we have wild stuff. Part of our farm's purpose is about, you know, dealing with the land and working with the land, not against it.
Yep.
And we have a lot of like wild brush around and wild blackberries and mulberries and things to that effect. So I harvest them all season long. And then I wash them real good, freeze them at the peak of their freshness, so that when winter comes and I have a little more time, I have plenty of supplies to make stuff up for people when they're in need.
We got Boston's finest, Mr. Hako. The the Canna-Fix-It man himself. We're trying to actually work on a little something with him, but we'll get there. But he says the strawberry habanero was fantastic. Okay, listen, Hako, do not make me come down there and steal it from you, because I will. No, I'm only joking. We don't have to trade. Motivated actually has acknowledged the fact that I was like, yo, I'm talking to some heavy hitters today. Let's send them some care packages. They're like, give me some addresses. So you guys are going to get some care packages for coming on today. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I just need to know sizes and whatnot and stuff like that. But they're pretty sweet, man. Although, one thing I will say, and this is just true for everything, tie your little loops in a knot, or I may or may not have had to put this for like an hour. Just it's not fun, man. It's not fun, and it's just one of those things where you just smoke a joint and it's just tedious, and you just do that. You know what I mean? But I do want to circle back to something that Ellen and I. 2 seconds, sorry. We were talking about it earlier, and I want to hear everyone's kind of like, what they know, what they don't know, and stuff like that. It's a panel. You know what I'm saying? That's how it goes. Phytoremediation. Yeah. See, yeah. No, that's a huge long word. If you play that in Scrabble, give up. Give up. So, phytoremediation is defined as a bioremediation process that uses various types of plants to remove, transfer, stabilize, and or destroy contaminants in the soil and groundwater. Okay. So you're telling me, and correct me if I'm wrong, that's why you're here. You're telling me that with using phytoremediation, we could plant hemp and there's other plants like sunflower. We could plant these things in the fields that we've destroyed. And within one harvest, that's fine. That I wouldn't say one harvest, but you can tell a difference with. I'm sorry.
Man, I wish my husband wasn't working right now, because this is one of his actual big topics he's been discussing. Because in the community where our farm is, it's a hardcore farming community, so there's a lot of runoff from manure from animals, nitronization of our local waterways, and it's all well water out there. So there's all these problems, and one of the things that just happened was they put in a new regulation that everybody has to upgrade to this new septic system that's going to cost everybody like $40,000 or something, and it's a community where it's very torn. Half the community is uppity, and the other half of the community is barely making it. So they're like, how are we going to do this? The farmers are struggling. And one of the things he's been talking about is the fact that if we strategically plant hemp along these areas, it'll help fix those. We have certain areas that we have problems with flooding. We strategically plant hemp crops over there. That'll drastically help with that excessive of flooding. It'll grow a product that people can actually use. And like I said, it'll help with the, denitrification and a couple other nutrients. I can't tell you off the top of my head, but
right.
I would know, those things that hemp is actually really great at absorbing and fixing.
Ellen, something that we talked about, sorry.
No worries. I was just going to say, I'd let in much to her point, I'd love to see I'd love to see this implemented in Massachusetts, but I'd love to see it be a nationwide movement where we look to the hemp plant to see what regenerative properties it holds and how we can use it. Even when, I live on Cape Cod and we have Otis Air Force Base that has been polluted because of years and years of airplanes coming in and leaking into the ground. If we could use hemp for phytoremediation to help pull some of those heavy metals, after how many harvests, and we'd have to test our soil before, during, after, have a bioenvironmental engineer, a lot of good stuff to make sure that we could actually, again, plant on there and then eat from that soil. So it can, like Jack Harris said, I don't know if hemp can save the world, but it's the only thing that could.
Well, one of the positives about using hemp is so versatile that you can use it those first couple of crops that you can't eat, because realistically, there's like at our farm, we do lots of soil testing and things like that, and pay attention to like the heavy metals and the leads, because cannabis absorbs that, hemp absorbs that. But we do just for our produce too, because there are specifically certain vegetables also that you have to be really attentive as to where they come from because of their absorption. But hemp is so versatile. Those first couple of crops, you can still grow, produce stuff. It's just not stuff that people are going to consume, ingest, but it's still perfectly good for fibers, for clothing, but the industry isn't set up for our small local farmers. Like it's hard enough as a small local farmer to get a tractor that's good enough to get my field ready, let alone an attachment to do my hemp, and then attachment to dry it, an attachment to this, a storage unit. A lot of people, they go with these farmers, these small local farmers, they're like, yeah, we're going to come here and we're going to do this and we're going to do that. And these farmers are like, hey, like, I've got these couple of acres, let's do this. And then all of a sudden they're overwhelmed with the fact that they don't have the equipment to really manage what they're trying to do. They don't have the knowledge because, and I mean no disrespect, because I love everybody in the community, and everybody who's in the community is absolutely in agriculture and stuff. But being a farmer and working in agriculture are kind of two different things, and people really don't know until you're out there in the fields, in 100-degree daylight, till your livelihood is there, till you're that. Then you really understand how it works. And they come in and they're like, oh shoot, like I didn't think about the fact that like I have to water stuff. And it's like, well, yeah, Water doesn't just, you can't just drop a
Yeah.
seed and come back 4 days later in a heat wave
Yep.
and expect to have like this giant crop.
Yep.
But that's because farming isn't, and like I said, us small farmers, we can't afford all, I can't afford to build a new building to dry the hemp in. I can't, and then there's, like I said, I've had people come to me with some crazy, like, yeah, and it's like, no, it doesn't work like that because you're not a farmer. You don't know what but there are systems that we could, and if people actually supported their small local farmers, and like we could set up co-ops for equipment, where like the South Coast, where where we can all pull together to purchase a piece of equipment. We all, maintain the equipment together, and then, set it up. But even in situations like that, you come into issues, because I've seen that with hay farming, but you come into issues because when it's time to harvest, it's time to harvest. But like I said, those products get reused into clothing to, I would love to see more hempcrete. Like there's so many other awesome things we could do with it. So it's mediating that land. That land's not getting used anyways, because like, it's either too close to the water, so it's this, or it's too that, they have a million reasons why we can't use land for agriculture. But if we stand up and say, hey, no, like this is not only agriculture, but we need to fix this. Like this will fix the water. Our water is our hottest commodity. People say about how we don't irrigate our fields. I don't irrigate my fields because it's water. Like it's the most valuable thing in the entire world is water. We have access to the smallest amounts of it, and you can't drink the ocean. So
I mean, you can, but you're not going to have a good time. It's just,
not gonna have a good time at all. But like I said, I don't mean to soapbox it, but yeah, we can totally use hemp, and it doesn't have to be hemp that we're going to ingest. It doesn't need to be for oils for, tinctures and stuff like that. We can use that hemp to fix the ground, and because it's
not just that. But Ellen and I were talking a little bit earlier about using the entire plant for numerous things. Ellen, you were saying something about, I want to say it was I'm sorry, plastics or
yeah, using the cellulose in the hemp plant to create plastics, biodegradable plastics, which is really important, especially when we think about the amount of plastics that we go through in a day. Sometimes when I clean out my car after a long road trip or something, I'm horrified when I'm throwing things out in that Stop and Shop bag when I see, plastic container after plastic container after plastic container, all of which are single use and can never be, used again. So the importance of having a biodegradable plastic is going to be important, and the importance of having hemp, like she had mentioned, for fiber, for our clothing, for the food that we eat. It's just so versatile that where I see the biggest problem in the supply chain is in the processing. There are genetics available to us, there is farmland available to us, and then where I find that the most gumming ups of the work happens is in the harvesting and the production, because there's nowhere to really put it. Kind of like you were just saying, sometimes people come to you with these amazing ideas, with these wonderful well intentions, and you just have to, in the nicest way, bring them back down to reality, because it's not going to work maybe as seamlessly as you'd think. For example, I had a friend who, it was like Lowell or somewhere like that, where there was an old paper mill next to a stream. So it could work together. And at one point they had used hemp plants to create paper, to create hemp paper. So he wanted to completely restart this paper mill and create it with hemp products only. And it didn't end up going through. But one of the largest things I thought was, there's not enough of a demand in the market for what you're trying to do, that your margins wouldn't kill you within the first 3 to 5 years. You just wouldn't see a profit unless the consumer market knows enough to ask for it. So we also need to re-educate people about the importance of, asking, hey, was this, created with the hemp product? Is this biodegradable? All of those kinds of good things are going to be really important. And it's on us, the consumers, to not only ask for it, but demand for these products to see their way onto the market, especially because, as we've been talking about, we're on they're calling it like the 6th extinction. So I think maybe we were talking about this before we went on air, where we have so much going on with the climate crisis, where if we don't start to make changes, we are not going to have a future. So what can we do to be more sustainable in the long run? And hemp is a really, it's a really wonderful plan to start helping to aid and correct a lot of these problems. It's not going to be the fix-all, but it's going to be a wonderful starting point.
Mm-hmm. Let me help people out. Let me answer that for them real quick. Not to be a smartass, but cough, phyto remediation, cough. It's not that hard. I mean, it is. It's getting the right people in the right places doing the right thing. That seems a lot harder than y'all would think, especially since what we're talking about was so degraded. You know what I'm saying? I grew up in the dare age, you know, and it was like, yo, drugs are really bad. And then that turned into drugs are really expensive, but we won't talk about that. You know what I'm saying? The point is, I knew their metric system in high school, and the metric system has always kind of, you know, did me well in addition to being a chef. Let's face it. As a chef, you're not just a chef because you love it. You're a chef because you're fucking obsessed with it. That's what it is. And it's interesting because when we find a new hobby, we obsess over it. That's what it is. And it just so happens that I stumbled into this, you know, Lewis Carroll story of cannabis, if you will. And I met amazing people such as yourselves. And it's... Dude, I'm learning. Like, I love that shit. Like, I will absolutely, you know, be the first person to admit that I'm wrong. You know why? Because I get to learn from that shit. Whew, that's a win-win to me. You know what I mean? But we can talk about all day about my ass. I got some questions. They're kind of, they shake the ground a little bit, but I think we need to shake the tree to get the dead weight off, if you feel me.
Okay.
Is there a situation being a female in cannabis where you feel that you were undermined or a situation you're like, yo, what the fuck? Is there a situation? If so, do you feel comfortable about talking about it so we can kind of, you know, understand it from your perspective? Because I believe that I love people's perspective.
I have a really good one, if that's okay. And I won't name any names, but if you know, you know. Once upon a time, I worked for a different educational institute when I first started, and I loved this place, and I'd worked there for a good amount of time, and I was happy getting paid $15 an hour to teach classes and all of this stuff.
So you're teaching seminars for $15?
I was teaching seminars. I was putting together the curriculum. I was putting together the presentations. I was putting together the exams. I was teaching the exams. And what I did was I didn't value myself. I didn't know my worth. I didn't know how to negotiate. So they said, hey, you can use our school to hold your classes. Before there was Sensimia seminars, it was Ellen Brown's cannabis clinics. And I called them cannabis clinics because I thought it was kind of punny. And like you take your sick plant in to like get fixed, you know, you learn. But everyone thought it was a place to get recommendations. So I had to, you know, as we evolve, we change our name, we learn. So long story short, I was getting paid $15 an hour and I was happy. And I was talking to one of my male coworkers and all of a sudden
Which, by the way, $15 an hour, no matter what it is still not a living wage, but continue. Sorry. Well,
we were talking and he looks at me and he goes, I can't believe we're only getting paid $65 an hour. Oh yeah, no. And I had actually been a part of his hiring process. I had been there far longer than he had. And I was like, and I didn't get mad at him and I didn't react at all. I was like, wait, you're getting paid $65 an hour? And he was like, yeah, what are you getting paid? I was like, I'm getting paid $15 an hour. And I wish I had handled this better when I had the conversation with my bosses at the time, because I was very curt about what I thought and how I felt and what had just happened. And my boss said to me, well, we paid him more because he had more swagger than you. He didn't have more experience. I know. He didn't have more experience.
Fucking Justin Bieber?
I don't know. But he came in with a certain amount of swagger. When he spoke, when he did things, he did them with a certain amount of natural confidence and charisma, which is, you know, it's somebody comes in and they have a job interview and they say, hey, I want $65 an hour. I came in and I was like, I want to teach. And they're like, all right, $15 an hour it is. And I never thought to ask for more. I didn't know more was an option. So long story short, this employee was a great person, all the things, but he ended up being unhappy and leaving. And he's on doing wonderful things and having a great life and all these things, like nothing but love for him. Right. And so I talked to my boss when he had left and gone on to different things. And I said, well, can I get paid $65 an hour? What's going on? Because not only was I here before him, I've done more than him, and I have a track record of success that he not only does he not have, but won't have, you know what I mean? Because of the years of experience I have in the industry of firsthand job training. And they said to me, no. They said to me, no. They said pretty much it wasn't a good investment in their finances. And they had already spent so much money on him that how could they justify paying somebody else $65 an hour? And I tell you what, a couple months later, Sensomia Seminars was born, baby. And I have never looked back. And something else that I've also done is I've taken a negotiation class, and that has benefited my life greatly by going in and knowing what my baton is. You know, now when I have conversations, I think, you know, well, not necessarily what's in it for me, but what is the reciprocity to this? Like, you know, what are we able to do, like a free sponsorship? Are we able to work together in this way? You know, am I able to do pro bono now? And you could, like, how does one hand wash the other? How is that happening? And I found that, you know, when you come in and you know your worth, you know, and you know what you're worth and add extra, people would say no. Nobody is expecting you to start, or, you know, at this point be yes for $15 an hour. It's okay to say, hey, you know, I'm making 15, I'm selling out of my classes. And I didn't realize at the time I was getting paid $15 an hour. We were hosting these classes that we were charging people $250 for. And I only got $15 an hour. I never, ever thought they're making thousands of dollars. Why didn't you ask for more? I just thought that they would. And I also, maybe as like a woman, or maybe as a person of a certain age or whatever, but if you work hard, I was always taught if you work hard, you work hard and you get rewarded by your boss. I never really had the conversation with my parents or in life or in different things that you need to negotiate. You need to, you know, if you don't feel like you're getting treated fairly, you need to ask for more, all these different things. And, you know, had I taken that negotiation class, I would have had that initial conversation differently when I found out about how my male colleague was getting paid 3 times as much as I was, based solely on swagger. So
crazy.
I got a quick story for that, and then Averyl, I want to hear yours. So my quick story, long story short, I worked in this restaurant with whom I just, you know, a chef that I presumably thought was cool. Like, I idolized this guy because he did a certain way. He had, you know, a swagger that I was like, hey, you know, I wanna do that. I want to be him. Da 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 da. And so, like, you know, I trained under him as a line cook, hired him as a line cook, moved up to sous chef, and he goes, all right, so you're in charge of the books now, and this and that and the other. Then that's what chefs do. Sous chef does all the work. They get all the fucking credit. That's what happens. Mm-hmm. So I was like, all right, cool. And it got to where he was teaching me, you know, how much people make. And he's like, you can't share this. You're a manager, da 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 da. You can give raises, but clear them through me. I was like, all right, cool. And I went through it, and I noticed, okay, you know, so at the time it wasn't much, but it was like 12, 13, 14, 15, all right, $950? What the fuck? And so then I was like, listen, I'm pretty good at math, and I'm pretty sure those numbers don't match. You know, they're not even fucking close. And he's been here the longest, okay? I go, yo, so why is homie, you know, getting only paid $950? He's been here for like 6 years. He's like, oh, man, you ain't know? I was like, no. He's like, he's always in jail. I'm like, no, he's not. Like, he's like, yeah, you've only been here for a while. You'll figure it out. I was like, You want to know why he got paid $950?
Why?
Because he was black.
Oh.
Yep. So here's what I did. I took the clicker and went over there and click print, took that straight upstairs, showed homie. I'm like, you and I need to leave. I was like, pack your knives, let's go. He's like, you goddamn right, buddy. And we went and got hammered at his house. But the point is, I ain't gonna work for a racist. Not gonna do it. Not gonna do it. Or a sexist person. I've seen a lot of, I've seen some shit in kitchens, but I digress. The point is, I feel you on that one, and whew, man, I'd have been. How did you remain calm? I don't get it.
You have to stay professional.
Get fired up, I tell you.
It's like you have to stay professional and remember, it's like, I don't know if it's my mom, I don't know who, but always remember your ABCs. Always be classy. Always be classy. And I was, you know, understandably like upset, and we had the conversation. I wish I had been a bit more poised, because I had been working for this company, and, you know, with a mom and pop and all those kinds of things, you know, you get to feel like it's a family environment, and what you get to, you know, in some cases it is, but in this case, you know, I just found that I was getting kind of played a little bit, and they were using my good nature. And something my dad definitely says is, don't mistake my kindness for a weakness. And I went and I bowed out gracefully, and I I parted ways, and I wish everybody the best, you know, not only in this life, but the next. And then I moved on with my career, and I've never been happier. So I think when people find that they are getting paid less or not getting taken care of, that when they stop investing in other people's businesses and start investing in themselves, maybe you'll find yourself on the cover of a magazine or New England Business Leader of the Year. I got that award at the first Eddie, and I was really proud. And it's a compilation of hard work for all of us, like you having your license and you starting a show. Like just getting started can be the hardest part, you know, relying on yourself. So congratulations to both of you for taking these huge steps with your farm, with your podcasting, and
thank you.
We'll just keep supporting each other.
Yeah, that's it. I want to clear up a little bit, and then Averyl, we're gonna get to you. 2 seconds. I'm sorry. I still got that pinpointed right there because I do want to hear that story. But my boy, man, I'm not even gonna repeat your name, but my boy on YouTube here. A little bit of confusion. Yes, so I did find out it was because my buddy was black. The chef mayor, he said some choice words that I do not agree with, and I'm not okay with it. And so that's what caused me to do what I did by printing it out, show it to him, and leaving. You know, it sucks. But at the same time, it's like, it is what it is at that point. Miss Averyl, what's that one situation that's happened as a female in cannabis that you're just like, is it worse than Ellen's?
Well, see, I've been relatively lucky in the cannabis industry in regards to that because I'm a woman farm owner in a predominantly old man farmer industry. So I learned my worth quite a few years back. I think the biggest story was that we had just got it was brand new to us. She's like a 1960 John Deere tractor, but she's new to me. And
that's new. That's new.
I love my tractor.
That's just broken in.
Yes, I love her. But I had never had a tractor with a bucket, and it was the first time I had a tractor that I could actually take off site to go and get gas. So I went to the gas station up the street, and this guy, like late 50s, early 60s guy walks in front of my tractor while I'm pumping the gas. And he starts yelling at me that, hey, you know, you're going to ruin your engine. You're putting gas in a diesel tractor. And I'm like, no, I'm putting gas in my gas tractor. And he's like, no, it's a diesel and you're going to blow your engine. And I'm like, no, it's a gas tractor and I'm putting gas in my tractor. And he says, what makes you think it's a gas? And I'm like, well, like the guy I bought it from, I asked him, like, is it a gas or a diesel? And said it was gas, so I'm going to believe him. And he goes to the side, he says, comes around, he says, well, it has a carburetor, so it's gas. And I'm like, all right, you know, whatever. I continue pumping my gas, clear it up. I sit down, I start the tractor, I go, and he comes walking in front of my tractor again. So he walks in front of my tractor, and I wait to lift my bucket because I don't want to hit like this old man with the bucket of my tractor at the mobile up the street from my farm. And he comes over and he looks at me, he says, what are you doing? I said, I'm waiting for you to walk by. He says, oh God, you don't even know how to drive this thing? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. I was just waiting for you to walk by. This little old man, like Spider-Man, flew up on the back of my tractor and started messing with my gear. So I slammed my foot on the clutch. The guy coming, I'm like, you know, and I'm like, because I'm like a lady farmer. I'm like, you know, kind of new in farming. And I'm like, no, please stop. No, please stop. And he does it. And then eventually I get him off and I say, you know, I put it in gear and I'm like, sir, look, I have it. Thank you. I appreciate it. And he's yelling at me about how he's been driving tractors for 60 years and tractor family of farmers. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. That's great. I get him off my tractor. I go to leave. I realize he broke my shifting ring. So I call my landowner, who's kind of he's a good guy inside, but he's a little burly on the outside, and tell him that some guy just jumped on my tractor at the gas station and broke my shifter. And now I'm driving down the highway stuck in his gear, and I'm going there because I don't know what to do. So I pull his, first thing he says, you know, come back. So I go to his farm and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And he's like, he looked at me, he said, why did he jump on your tractor? And I said, I don't know. Like, he did it so fast. And he's like, you know, he did it because you're a girl. He said, you can't be a girl in farming, you know, and at which point, because he's kind of a burly guy, and he yelled, and it was one of those, like, you know, so I might have cried a little bit, you know. He said, hey, there's no crying in farming. There's no girl in farming. There's no gender in farming. That guy went to jump on my tractor. He said, you don't let somebody jump on your tractor. This is yours. He's like, and now
kick their ass off of it.
Apart, and we had to rip it all apart, and we put it back together, and we fixed my tractor. And at the end, he said, you know what? You don't let somebody touch your tractor. He said, just because you're a girl, you let them know. You put your foot down and you say no. And I said, all right.
Damn right, exactly.
You know, I went back and he was right at that stage. That was when, you know, people come to my farm and like, oh, I need to talk to the boss. I'm like, I'm the boss. Like, no, the farmer. No, I'm the farmer. You know, the one on the tractor. No, I'm the one on the tractor. You know,
you should do it where you should be a smart ass and just be like, all right, hang on, and then turn around and be like, what's up?
You know, like me and my husband, we're equals at my farm. He, you know, he doesn't have anything more to say to you than I'm going to say to you. So if you need to say it to me. So stepping into the cannabis industry, I was already in that role. Like, I know that I'm not, you know, I know what I know, you know, and I'll be the first one to say that I don't know. Like, it's not my forte. I'm not a fan of that. I don't know it, you know, but I don't tend to let a lot of people come, you know, if you're going to come at me sideways and treat me some way because I'm a woman, I'm going to put that, you know, I got my own little bank that I keep, you know, and my husband is real supportive of that. And, you know, I might have the fibro and I might forget a little bit, but my husband will be the first one to say, no. Remember that party we went to and that guy was a little salty because you're a girl? And I'm like, oh, that's right. Thank you. You know what I mean? So I'm in the cannabis industry that, you know, but I think it's important for people to recognize that, you know, they need to know what their value is and know what their
100%. You don't touch another person's tractor like you don't touch another person's chef's knives. You feel me? Without permission. No, if I'm like, hey, go move my tractor, that's obviously you're cleared. You're good. If you get on it, don't know how to drive it, we'll have a different discussion then. But it's like, hey man, you know, it's the same thing in the kitchen. So like being like raised in a kitchen has taught me a lot about morals and ethics. Now, mind you, when there's drinking and you know, drug abuse, not marijuana, but drug abuse, like substance abuse involved, morals and ethics are straight out the window. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we've lost those morals and ethics as soon as dinner service has begun. From there, it's just debauchery until you wake up and do it again. So, I know all about, you know, I've seen racism firsthand. Absolutely. Me, I'm absolutely, you know, I'm enraged when I see it. It doesn't make sense to me because I grew up with everybody, you know, with you know, men and women. Again, the same thing. It doesn't make sense to me because I grew up with everybody. So for me, it was like, yo, you know, this is what's going on in the world, especially when I stopped drinking and I started using cannabis more. Like, it mellowed me out, got me off the pills, helped me, you know, I'm still a recovering alcoholic, but fact of the matter is, like, I haven't touched anything in 6 years. That's a struggle, and every day is a struggle. Seriously,
congratulations.
Thank you. I don't say that to gloat. I do not. I say that because it's like, you know, that's one of the things that I deal with. In addition to being a recovering alcoholic, I'm also a recovering narcissist due to my alcoholism. You understand? Nobody admits that shit now. You understand? I was the one person that was like, yo, I'm going to Constantine the shit out of this. Heaven doesn't want me and hell doesn't want me. So what the hell am I going to do? You know what I mean? So it's like, I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. You know, they want narcissists to recover to be, you know, working, functional members of society. But at the same time, a narcissist is always a narcissist. Come on. If you don't let somebody succeed, okay, you are holding them back. That's what it is. Okay. I've had awesome, amazing people in my life that have led me in an awesome path. I met awesome friends like you guys, you know, and stuff like that. It's just like, there are struggles, man. And cannabis has helped me every single way. It's taught me patience. It's taught me virtues that, let's face it, I may or may not have learned, you know, outside of the kitchen, you know, in life without cannabis. Now, I want to circle back to the tractor thing. There was a female, that I worked with, and I call her female because that's how she's like, I'm the alpha female. Okay. I think that was the first 3 words she said to me real quick, but I love her to death. She taught me a lot. And she had very specific knives. Now, here's how I know her knives, you know, from anybody else's, aside from they were her knives. She was left-handed. They are different. You can get them made for your hand. They're sharp and different. You can tell the grip's different. If you really pay attention, you can, you know, definitely tell a difference. Well, I worked, you know, when I go into kitchens, and this sounds terrible, but I either find the newest person / the dishwasher and ask them, hey, what's up? What do I need to know? How are these people like? Or I go to the female and I say the same thing. Because let's face it, they may not be, you know, they may not be drama people or anything like that, but they're going to know. You feel me? Other females talk to other females. That's like a group conjugal thing. I don't even understand that, but that's fine. Just go to the bathroom together. That ain't weird. You know what I mean? It's cool. I'm joking. I'm sorry. But at the same time.
It's okay. It's so funny. I'm sorry. I'm trying not to laugh.
You're all right. No, by all means. It's, you know, I say it in jest because it's kind of, it just shows you like I'm able to, it's, you know. I went to her and I asked, I go, okay, So, you know, I'm new here. What do I need to do to impress the chef? Like, you know, this hungry kid. And she goes, well, you done fucked up. I go, what? She was like, you're talking to me. He fucking hates me. I go, why? She goes, because I'm the female. I'm that female. I go, huh? Like to me, you know what I'm saying? I was raised in my mom's kitchen, like, you know, like I said, gods and angels. And so like, I didn't know how to answer that. I'm like, I mean, you are female. That part is true. You've admitted this. I don't understand. It didn't make sense. He wasn't sexist, but he was raised different. That's what I'm going to say. You know what I'm saying? He flirted with all the women. Mad Men is probably the best way to, describe him.
You're saying you were working in a kitchen and you found that it had kind of the outdated stereotypes,
very
and then
toxic,
you worked to make progressive things happen where women were getting paid equally. Everybody got to be a service or a line cook or something like that. That's really important, you know, wherever you are in your job placement. If you see things that you can change that would be for the benefit of everybody and for the company, absolutely do so. You know, whether it's creating SOPs, whether it's fostering communication between employees and management, whether it's setting up team meetings. Sometimes you need to be the person who asserts themselves because nobody else is picking up the pieces, or fresh eyes are always the best thing, you know, somebody new that comes in and is able to see. So if I ever do a hiring process in other jobs, you know, I like to talk to people like the 30-day, 60-day, hey, how have you been? Like, really, do you see anything that you think could be more efficient? Because a different view or a different perspective could change productivity 100%. So that's wonderful that when you start in a workspace, you know, look to find ways to make it better for everybody, regardless of age, race, or creed. That's how it should be in the workplace.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, to kind of put that in a neat little bow to definitely let you know what happened. She did go on to get his position a year later. I loved it. I offered to. I was like, I'll move back and work for you. You know I will. And she said, I can't afford to pay you what you're worth. And I was like, okay, so is that the nice way of saying you hated me? She was like, no, that's me telling you the truth. I'm like, oh, I love you. So I've even went. Her daughter actually had an open house. You know what I mean? Like a high school open house. And she's like, hey, if I pay you extra money, can you come cook and set up? I'm like, yeah, I'll do it for free. I didn't take her money. You know what I'm saying? I didn't. And that just, you know, friends. She gets it. And I love that. Oh, man. I don't know what technical issues, what just happened, but a ton of comments just came in. Okay, sorry, guys. We're going to have to read through those later. There's a ton of them. Wow, that's crazy. I'm not used to that many comments. I don't know what happened. It looked like my computer had a seizure for a second, and then just like a wave. I was like, all right, hi. But circling back to using the entire plant, you know, the entire hemp plant. Now, Averyl, I've seen you do, you know, obviously your jams, you've got some jellies, you've got your other little products and stuff. So we know that you're pretty well versed in the culinary aspect of that. So we know about food. I do have a quick question for Ellen, though. What do you feel like is the next like 5 years of not only hempcrete, but like hemp 2x4s and things like hemp, you know, construction building materials? What do you see that going?
That's a wonderful question. You know, I really see hemp being at the forefront of, you know, replacing plastics, but with hempcrete, there's so much that we can do, especially when we think about the fact that hempcrete is flame retardant. So looking at ways that we could possibly save lives with using hemp instead of certain kinds of insulation would be huge. So I think as we learn about and we start to accept and really embrace all the things that the hemp plant are able to do, we're going to see a huge shift in marketing, and it's going to take these larger corporate entities to really look down and, you know, see what's going on with the consumer market to see that they want to make that kind of switch. Because if Coca-Cola and Pepsi and all those other, you know, large like single-use plastics come together and they want to start using like the cellulose from the hemp plant or things like that, that would change the game to have larger investments. What we do have is a grassroots movement, and what we need is a paradigm shift for everybody to want to go to that greener future. And I really think with you know, before COVID, we were seeing a lot with climate change really being on the forefront, and it still is on the forefront. So, you know, I am no longer the future. You know what I mean? I'm not the people that they're talking about, you know, the kids in the high school classes or anything. I'm an adult now. My job is to help teach and foster that next generation so they can go on and make sure that this planet is safe and secured. So as an educator, that's something I'm looking forward to do, is getting those that are in the workforce ready to, take care of this plan and take care of our community and our patients and customers the best they can, and hopefully in the most sustainable way possible.
We did just have a comment come through, and for some reason I can't post it. Like I said, technical difficulties. Sorry, y'all. I'm going to go Office Space when I get off the no, I'm just kidding. But the question is, how would that come out money-wise for hemp? Would it be more expensive? I feel that, like, if I can take this one real quick, I feel that, like, at first it'll be more expensive, but as, like, as you get the bigger companies like Coke and Pepsi and stuff like that in it, the supply and the demand, it's going to, I wouldn't say balance out, but we'll be able to mass produce it because we'll have the money and stuff like that behind it. But ain't none of that going to happen until it goes federally legal.
And small changes like the Legos companies, Lego is switching over to using hemp-based plastic Legos instead of using other kinds of plastic. So for a manufacturer of that kind of caliber to start making that sort of initiative is exactly what we need to see and need to applaud.
Absolutely. Now, Averyl, what have you done as far as using the entire hemp plant versus just culinary, like food stuff?
Well, I mean, on an individual do level, I'll be honest. I mean, I don't really, I do promote a lot of hempcrete, things to that effect. We like to do a lot of, I send a lot of emails. And I've been sending a lot of emails for a long time.
I send a lot of emails to myself by accident. It's not even funny.
Yeah, no, I reach out to my representatives. We work on it on that level. Our farm's goal is, we are not a hemp farm. I'm a produce farm. I don't know, but I'm a produce farmer, not a hemp farmer. We grow food for our community, and our farm's focus is the economically oppressed community. So we do a lot of stuff like that. We do a lot of educational things. And we always support people in whatever endeavors they do. We, help a lot of other hemp farmers in the community. I try to support my local hemp farmers to get my products. When I do make stuff with CBD, I support my local, I got a couple great local hemp producers and providers who that's where I get my full spectrum CBDs from.
There they are. Oh my God. Sorry. Comments work now. Sorry. All right, cool. Sorry.
Yeah, but they use organic plastic. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. I'm not the person to talk to about organic. I'm a chemical-free farm, but organic is actually a word that the government stole. So organic really just means carbon-based products, so everything is organic. So I feel it's more important about learning knowing your farmers, like the farmers I get my CBD from. I know who they are. I talk to them. I know what they're doing. I know what they're working with. I know how they're doing it, so that I know I'm getting a really clean product from them. I'm getting the best that they can provide and the best that they can do, and and I know what they're doing is great. So I prefer to work more on those levels, support them however we can, and work into legislation, because a lot of people don't recognize, like you might say, well, that hemp shirt is more expensive than that cotton shirt. But realistically, on an actual breakdown, you're paying way more for that cotton shirt, because once you realize where your tax dollars are going and what, subsidies and initiatives the government is giving out to these big, giant global corporations, it's not really cheaper. It's just the illusion of it being cheaper. So when we as a society come together and say, we don't want that anymore. We want to force, companies like Legos. We want these companies, we're going to support the companies that support what we want. That's when we're really going to initiate change. And by accepting the fact that sometimes you just can't have a pineapple. And I know it sucks. I love pineapple. Pineapple's awesome. But also accepting the fact that sometimes you just can't have a pineapple because you don't want to support a certain organization that is, where you have to go to get the pineapple. You don't want, there are just certain products you're not going to have because you don't want to support the bases behind those products, and learning the products that you're supporting. So I think that's where it really lies, is just more in education and supporting people. And like I said, I think hempcrete is freaking great. And, and I can, I'm a full plant. I'm a farmer, so I believe in full produce. I believe in full fruit. When you buy turnips from me, you're getting turnips with the greens, because the greens are edible, and you're going to get a recipe on how to use those greens and the beneficial factors of those greens. And I feel the same way about my cannabis, about my hemp. You know, I think we need whole products into our systems. That's why we have the whole products to enjoy. Unless it's rhubarb, don't eat the leaves of rhubarb. Don't.
No, no, no. Rhubarb's delicious, not the leaves. But more to that, actually. You know, it's interesting because, like, I heard this and I don't remember who I heard it from. If the person that said this hears this, pipe up, let me know, because I don't remember where I heard it from. But it all starts with, like, replacing one thing that you control, or one thing in your household, with hemp. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be a drinking straw or a bowl or just one thing, because one thing's going to turn into two, you get the idea, and things of that nature. As far as, like, growing your own, I just saw some comments. Yeah, absolutely. Everybody should grow their own. That's not even a question.
Yep.
Where you can. Don't start growing and then blame me on this, because, dude, you know right from wrong. Where you can. If you can legally grow, absolutely. Grow your own. GMOs. I absolutely hate GMOs. But there are some that the federal government, they're okay, and they get pushed through. So it's, especially in COVID times, and I'm not just making excuses here, it's become rather hard to get, farm to table ingredients, because, well, I mean, they're going to, different places, and you can't go to the grocery store. Like, I don't trust, if it says organic, all in my head as a chef, I'm just paying more for nothing. Here's the thing. Those carrots that you eat at the store, the orange ones, the nice big, Bugs Bunny carrots, those aren't organic. Those aren't even real. Did you know that? Carrots aren't supposed to be that massive in addition to orange. Carrots aren't orange naturally. They're dyed that color over, well, they weren't dyed that color, but, through like breeding and stuff like that, they were. Just to keep up with the demand, because we were ruining the soil. You see what I'm saying? We were tilling it and burning it and chemicals, and you get the idea. Dust bowls, those are man-made. Those are real. They will go away if we do phytoremediation, which is what our boy here in Canada was talking about earlier, with pulling up the toxins and stuff in the ground and keeping it inside the hemp. Absolutely, because then you can wash those hemps and those things wash out because they're all water soluble. That's the thing. You know what I mean? All the toxins, and because that's how they got there. They were added to water and sprayed in the dirt. Okay? From there, it goes, sorry, I heard a buzz. It goes down to like farm to table. The reason that I'm for this is because, I don't know about y'all, but I want my kids and my grandkids and my future, everyone in my life, my family, to have the best possible life ever. That ain't going to happen if we keep doing things the way we do it. You feel me? That's the problem. If we keep putting GMOs into shit, it ain't going to happen. You understand? Like, stop, people. You really got to think about this. That's why I'm so kind of passionate about it, because I've started adding cannabis to my own diet. I'll take fan leaves, wash them off, because let's face it, you spray some stuff on them, whatever have you, but always rinse your vegetables. Like, who doesn't? Add those fan leaves in your salad. They're delicious. They add an extra mouthfeel. It's amazing. They're good for you. My dogs love them. I don't buy dog treats anymore because they won't eat the damn dog treats. Seriously, I'm not joking. I'll take some, clippings upstairs and be like, here, dogs, and just, no, they're gone. You know what I'm saying? Take some treats up there. They're like, I guess, dude. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't like the fact that I may or may not have turned my dogs vegan. Joking. But the point is, it's good for them. It's good for everybody. It's good for all mammals because of the endocannabinoid system. At the end of the day, something from the earth is able to heal the earth and heal us. This is proven across. They just did a new study. You understand? I mean, it's opiate. Addictions are down. Crime is down. Like it's like, come on. Alcoholism, weirdly enough, is down. So if we're sitting here with cannabis and setting these records and setting these new precedences, to where this is what life should have been 100 years ago.
Yeah.
100 years ago.
But it is 100 years ago. That's what life was. But it was through prohibition because try not to soapbox it, but it has a lot to look into the history. It has a lot to do with the DuPonts and the rubber industry and the plastics industry, and hemp was primarily used for the ropes and the sails and the stuff for the ships that provided, back when we didn't have planes and all this stuff. So ships were everything. And they came out with this new magic plastic rubber product that they could use. They made hemp and cannabis illegal so that they could get the monopoly on that market to control the hemp and plastics. Everything that was hemp then turned into plastic.
Right.
So 100 years ago, maybe even a little more than 100 years ago, we were in that system where everything was hemp, and our livestock was eating hemp. We were wearing hemp clothing, we were doing all that, but it leads back to where is your money going? Now it was a money push, and the plastic industry in general, did that so that they can control the market. So, but if we as consumers, because I forgot, my husband said that I was supposed to be very, because I'm talking as a consumer and as a Massachusetts resident and in no real official capacity. But that's where it comes down to, is our consumerism, and where are we going to spend our dollar? Are we going to give our dollars to these companies, who they have the control, because we give them the control. So we can make hemp back. We can do all this stuff. And initially, it might be a little more expensive, but that's only a little more expensive because of the fact that we need to get into the legislator and say, no, we want this in the farm bill. We want this in the whatever bills, all the different bills, not specifically the farm bill. But you read the farm bill, most of it's not even about farming. So everybody comes like, oh, the farm bill. No, most of it doesn't even have anything to do with farming. It's about other stuff. But we need to make those pushes, and we need to say that where we want our money going. And we do that by shopping and telling people, what stores we're going to shop at and why we shop at them stores. And how, we write to our legislator and say, no, we don't want to support, this. We want to work for diversity, to diversify out of, the oil industry or the rubber industries, or, we want to be more in regards to solar or whatever is the different, things that you're interested in. But we as a consumer have to do that.
Oh, absolutely. And as a consumer, I thought it was actually pretty badass when one of my friends out of Chicago was like, yo, man, I can make you a chef coat custom out of hemp. And I'm like, say no. I was on the 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's so cool.
I was like, hey, what color hemp is it? And I was like, what color is it? He's like, any color you want, because you can dye it. I was like, shut up. I was like, can you give me like a sort of like natural, like earthy green tone? He's like, say no more. So I'm excited to get that. I'm worried though, because you think naturally, okay, hemp, you think kind of like hippie, kind of like like itchy. You think itchy. You're like, oh, this is going to be comfortable at all. Beautiful. That's not the truth.
No, beautiful.
Oh,
my favorite shirt, made in the USA, hemp grown. I've had this shirt at the farm. I go through shirts like ridiculous. They fade, they get destroyed, but I have this one shirt that I've had the whole time since our very first grow season. That's an organic hemp USA made shirt. And that shirt takes it. But that's where as consumers need to recognize, because yes, I have that one shirt, and I was fortunate enough that that shirt I actually won in like a contest on Facebook, nice. Ironically. Nice. But I won that shirt, but that shirt normally would have probably ran, $25-$30 in the store.
But it would have lasted like 10 times longer than the cotton shirt.
Still, it's 7 years taking a beating in the field, and it's still going strong, where those $5-$10 Walmart shirts, or not Walmart, whatever company is making crap clothes nowadays. They're that where you were going through it. So yeah, you paid $5 for that shirt, but it took you 4, 5, 6 shirts to get through this thing, where when you can support especially USA made, if you can support a hemp company, that's awesome. Which I know you're not necessarily out of Massachusetts, but I know Ellen's out of Massachusetts, so maybe we have a lot of Massachusetts people here. So I don't mean to like not boycott, but take over your show. But like when you talk about consumerism, that brings up what's happening in our community right now.
Good.
We have all these battles going on. We have an association that has teamed up to force and stop equity in our cannabis community. And now is the time where we as consumers, we did a lot of great stuff. We got the CDC to stop, their attack on equity, supposedly stop their attack on equity, because I don't necessarily believe it. But we got them to stop their lawsuit, and, all this stuff is happening, but we as consumers need to continue that battle, and we're continuing that boycott and continuing that picket. And, there's some great people in our community. Like, you should definitely reach out to like Omni Gardner, Goldie Piff, reach out to them.
Oh, I'm already friends with them on Facebook. I've been watching them. I'm getting there. I'm not important enough for me to talk to them. I'm just kidding. No, they're on my list. I have a long list, y'all. I have a long list.
People, and right now they're really helping. Grant Ellis is helping, run this push to help.
He just started writing, didn't he?
Oh, it's Grant here. I love Grant. Hi, Grant. But no, we're doing this push because we need to understand that we've got it going now, and we've started, but we keep stop now. There's still so much work we need to do. You know, all these people who are now, you know, all these CDC members who are now leaving, that's great that they're leaving. But what a lot of people don't understand that is organization, at least I'm not a CDA member, so I don't know how this organization works, but I've been involved in a lot of organizations. And before a meeting, you get an agenda sent to you. So all those people who say, I didn't vote for this, and I didn't do this, and I didn't do, they had the agenda. And by not going to the meeting and saying, no, I'm not going to let you stomp on equity. I'm not going to let you do this. You know, I'm going to make my voice heard. Even if it's a single voice, I'm going to make it heard. They contributed to the problem. So now we need all those people to step up now and actually, you know, support the community. They say they want the community to support them. They need to step up and support the community. But we as a community need to continue working with this boycott and the picket. And we're going to start going to all these dispensaries across the state, all across Massachusetts, because we need equity all across Massachusetts. And we're going to start going to these dispensaries. And even if it's small groups, like, you know, a single voice makes a ripple. You know, if you're, you know, especially if you're a patient, you go to these dispensaries and you see them and you talk to them, you know, they know your face supposedly. That's what they claim, you know, to see out in front of them with your sign saying, no, we want you to support equity in our community and we want you to do it like for real. Not, you know, under these guys. We need to do this. And so anybody out there that's hearing, you know, reach out to Omani, reach out to Goldie. And we're going to start, like I said, we're going to start setting them up all across Massachusetts. You know, we're just going to start, and we need to keep it going though. We need to show them, like we showed them, you know, but we don't need to be that little guy who's like, oh, we poked him in the toe, and they're like, oh, you poked me in the toe, and they put their Band-Aid and they go back to doing their dirty stuff.
No, they don't understand that we're coming for everything they told us we never could have. They don't get it. It's not a joke anymore.
What they have was stolen from people.
Exactly.
You know, especially a lot of, you know, these communities in the state that were just deemed disproportionately impacted by the war on drugs. They were deemed within this little bit, but they've been disproportionately impacted for years, you know, for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 years. Like, this isn't something new, but they're not stepping up. Like, how many of these communities actually have economic empowerment and social equity? You know, how many of them actually have that going on right now?
I can actually say that Michigan does. We do have a pretty good, Michigan's got a good handle on it, and I'm not trying to take anything away from, you know, my Boston peeps, my Mass peeps. Y'all are the heartbeat, okay, right now. Y'all are just like, yo, here's that fire, though. Here's that fire, and you're setting a good precedent for us, you know, and it's...
Like Omanique's saying, you know, she's 100%, you know, we need to apply the pressure. Like, we need to do this call to action. We need to organize. The only way we are going to, they are crushing us because they are organized. We need to organize. We need to organize in a fashion that actually gets things done. And the way we're going to get that done is in their pocket. So we can lead these pathways to equity in these communities, you know, send them the message that we want them to do what's right. You know, because it has to be like, that's what it has to be. Like, we're not going to allow it to be any other way.
Why should we? And that's my point. Like, hey, y'all, this is backcountry. We can't stop now. You understand? Like, that's where it's at. And it's like, the fight's not going to be over until... Even if it does go federally legal, the fight's still not over, because then certain states can put certain restraints on it, and we know how that shit's going to work. So you're absolutely 1,000% right. That's why we're here today. Grassroots.
We're going to get smashed. All the little guys in Massachusetts, once it goes federally legal, we're out, because these big corporate monopolies are going to come in and they're going to do whatever they want, because that's what they're already doing. So we need to step up as the little guys, all banded together, and stand up and fight for what needs to be done. And like I said, we need to get equity. We need to show these companies that we're not going to let this happen. But the only way we're going to do that, like I said, is if you call Omanique or Goldie and you set it up. And I know I got my poster boards downstairs, and my kids are waiting for me. That's why I keep looking at the corner of the clock, because I told my kids, I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to do this real quick, and then we're going to make poster boards, and my kids are helping us make up some poster boards to get ready to go and get our picket on, because they know that we're not going to stand for this. And we need people to also understand that it's not just us, because I'm standing there picketing. I'm not standing there picketing as between the rules. I'm standing there picketing as a patient. I'm a patient in Massachusetts. I'm a registered voter in Massachusetts. You know, it doesn't need to just be people who have an agenda. We need the people in the community who just support it. You don't have to be a consumer to support it. You have to want fair and equitable cannabis regulations in our state. And the only way is if everybody comes. So like, tell your friends, you know, like I said, they don't even have to smoke weed. They can hold a sign that says, you know, because I know people are like, I don't want to get in trouble. Hold a sign that says, I don't even smoke weed, but I want equitable cannabis regulations. Like, you know, because that's what we need. And that's how we really build it back. Because if we can get our cannabis businesses, our local businesses, we're the ones who know what our community wants. Because we're the ones who grew up in that community. We're the ones who saw the kids who didn't get to play first string on the football team because they didn't go to the fancy summer camp because their parents couldn't afford the fancy summer camp. You know, we're the ones who know that. So why can't we be just like Joe's Auto Mall and like sponsoring the soccer team and sponsoring the football team and sponsoring, you know, providing food to our communities? The war on drugs did more to people than just drugs. You know, and we need to address the entire community. And as people, we need to say, you know what? This is the bullshit. Let's do it. Like, it doesn't matter if you smoke weed or if you don't smoke weed, you know, it doesn't matter. But if you want your community better, the tax revenue is going to make your community better. And if you support your local small guys, you help them guys get in, then they're the ones who are going to be supporting your teams. They're the ones who are going to be tipping you at the restaurant. You know, they're going to be the ones who are helping you out, not taking your money and going out of state with it. But as soon as federal regulations come in and it opens federally, it's a wrap, because then they can just do whatever they want. They're just going to come in and we're still going to be sitting there with no equity. We're still going to be sitting there saying, hey, well, we have priority. What does priority matter if nobody makes it a priority?
So the best thing that we can do inside our communities is back one another, because y'all, first and foremost, in the preamble, we the people. That's just what it is, you know, the people. So as people in your local communities, make sure that you take your dollar away from those corporations that you don't want to support and put it back into fucking equity locally. It's that smart. Just move your dollar. You want to spend it? Give it to somebody that'll use it for the right shit.
And make it clear, though, you have to spend your dollar, because that's what it is. But they need to hear your voice. They need to hear you. Like, when all this went down, I called because, you know, I'm a medicinal patient and I don't do a lot, you know, sometimes I need distillate and stuff. I work with a couple of particular dispensaries, you know, that I go to as a patient. First thing I did was call and say, no, look, at this is so-and-so. Here's my patient ID number. You see my records. You see I shop there. And now I'm telling you, until you step back from the CDA, I'm not stepping foot on your grounds. You know, so now not only are you jeopardizing things as a business, but you're jeopardizing me as a patient, because now I don't have access to a product because I can't come there. So if you're really a medicinal dispensary, you really want to support patients, then don't back this. And not only don't back this, because like I said, just because you didn't vote or you weren't a member enough or you whatever, you got the emails, you knew what was happening, you could have said what was going on, right? So, but now is your chance to say, okay, I fucked up. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. By all means. Are you fucking with me? I mean, seriously. There's a mature content warning at the beginning of this. We're good.
I made a mistake, and from here on, I'm growing, I'm recognizing, and how can we as these institutions and these businesses support and, you know, economic empowerment, social equity, you know, how can we support these communities? Can we get more Black and brown people into this industry? How can we get more diversity? How can we get more, you know, what do we have to do, and then do it? Not just lip service and say you're gonna, you know.
Oh yeah.
It's like I said, but the only way we're gonna get them to do that is if we band together. You know,
You can't have all the colors of the rainbow without all colors. That's
well, I don't know about you guys, but like, you know, because I'm not, you know, part of that big, you know, crowd. I don't have, you know, I come from a different environment. But when I grew up, people got first before people got seconds. You know, when you went out to dinner,
I like that.
We got first before, you know, and there were people in that room, you know, like the babies and the this and the, you know, the grandparents and anybody in general, you know, the people, your elders, your respecters, they couldn't necessarily get up there. So you went and you got them their plate and you brought it to them before you got your seconds. You know, and everybody in that room ate first. And then you say, hey, now everybody ate, who wants seconds? You know, these people who already have their first, they need to step up and get other people their firsts first. We need, and like people say, oh, you know, I can't get in the restaurant, I can't get a seat at the table. Dude, like, people aren't getting in the fucking parking lot. Like, let alone a seat at the table. And not enough people in Massachusetts. Like, look at the statistics. It's garbage. You know, people need to get in the parking lot. We need to get in the restaurant. We need to, you know, and then, like, let's get at the table, you know, but, like, give us that first step. But we as a community need to say that first step to get us, to get the little guy, to get everybody in there is to stand up together and say, no, we're not going to support associations that actively work to undermine equity in our state. We're not going to support organizations that are, you know, we're going to promote the businesses that are, we're going to assist the businesses that are, we're going to spread the word, because sometimes it's just, you know, sharing a post. You know, there's every little bit helps, but we need to organize. And like I said, reach out to Goldie and Ominique, and we're organizing and we're doing this, and we want to continue to apply the pressure. We want to continue to let them know that we want to see the diversity in this. We want to see all these things going forward. But like I said, we need to come together as a community.
Absolutely. You heard it here first. Sorry.
And we can look into also, there's some really great organizations here in Massachusetts. The first one of the ones that comes to my mind is EON, which is Equitable Opportunities Now. And just so everybody knows, on February 4th from 6 to 7 p.m., they're going to be holding a career and opportunity session. So that might be a great way to get involved.
How much does that cost?
EON. I believe that it is a free session, but I can look into that and send you the details. And the more places that we can share it, and there's very little for me to add to what you said. It's all fantastic. And it is a matter of, you know, where we put our consumer dollars, and then who we go on to support in different ways and different avenues, because there are going to be times where you have the opportunity to, you know, recommend a friend to a dispensary, or go somewhere, or give them your patronage, or things like that. And you need to know, you know, who has supported equity, who has supported the minorities, who has supported the veteran community, who has supported, you know, women in the industry, and who's done more than just lip service. So I think, especially in this industry that we're seeing growing, I think we're a very unique industry where we absolutely hold everybody accountable to what they say they're going to do with their positive impact plans and their diversity plans as well. We want to see those come into effect, and we want to see everybody be able to be taken care of with this cannabis plant and create intergenerational wealth. We want this equity priority period for 3 years for delivery, so that way we can help to create the foundation of intergenerational wealth. And I think I applaud everyone for what they've done, and I'm really looking forward to continuing to see how Massachusetts lets people know that with David and Goliath, like, David has a chance.
No, it's not David anymore. It's
Who
Daphne.
is it?
Daphne.
Ooh, look at you. Yes.
My point is, listen, if you really haven't had anything else to take away from this, take this away. Okay? We're here. We're not going anywhere. We're trying to literally heal the earth and heal people and not be ripped off. You know, there's a lot of like really, really bad things in the cannabis industry. There's a lot of good things too. That's the thing. It's as the French would say, c'est la vie, such is life. And I get that. But in that same life, we have to learn to take care of not only one another, but, you know, ourselves, you know, with mental health. Hello Cannabis. With, like, say, physical ailments, hello Cannabis. We could go on, but we've actually ran out of time. No, we've covered a lot. I absolutely adore you guys, you women. Sorry, I almost said you guys. I caught it. I adore you women for what you do, and just having the strength and the tenacity to deal with the outlandish bullshit that you've dealt with the tractor and the being undercut by
Swagger.
The point is exactly, you know. Justin Bieber,
I tell people that story and everybody's jaw drops. I'm like, yeah, swagger.
I could show you. Mine did. It happened. But it's very admirable that you move past that and you're doing what you're doing. You know, I kind of want to go make a sign, you know what I'm saying, and put it out in front of my house. But at the same time, they'd be like, yo, what I got from that is you really got some good. Where you at? You know, that's what's going to happen. I live in Michigan. We have a pretty good system set up. I can't say enough about that. I just hope that, sharing things like this, we can kind of learn from each other and help each other and band together. We're doing the same shit. That's the way I look at it. And that's absolutely why I wanted to sit down with you wonderful ladies today and get your opinions. Now I know what not to say to make Averyl mad. I'm joking. I'm joking. I seriously am joking. But seriously, that shows that passion, though. That passion. Oh, my. Yes. Like, I want to go to Massachusetts. I don't even live there. I'll hold a sign.
Well, come hold a sign. We need to, because that's what we need, though. We need people. Mm-hmm. We need people to recognize that it's the whole system. That everybody thinks, our system, and unfortunately we're going through this pandemic, and people mm-hmm. should come to more of a recognition that, we need each other, as part of being, all these people are like, it's all about me. We're all a we. We're never going to get where we need to be all by ourselves. We need to work together, on every mm-hmm. front. Like, that's how we are, We are not independent people. I used to work in an industry where we said, we're striving for independence. And I would say, no, right. We're not. Like,
you're really not, Yeah.
Like, I call my mom when something great happens. I call my kids. I call my dad. I call my husband. We work in a society where we work together. We need to work together to fix these problems. And we need to seriously do it now. We need to get on this. Like,
we're running out of time. That's what it is. We're running out of time.
And we need to show them who we are and show them we're not going to let it stand. And now is the time. We need to, like I said, make your signs, and we're going to get together, and we're going to just go stand outside and, bring your woolly mittens, and maybe we can go as viral as Bernie, with his mittens, showing that.
Let's do it. Now, that's it. Come together, straight community. We got to stand against this. We're going to stand against this. Everybody you see in front of you, we'll answer your comments, questions, your concerns. If we can't answer it, we're going to find somebody that can, because we want to learn with you. That being said, Averyl, Ellen, thank you again for coming on the show. Thank you. Tell people where they can find you.
Thank you. So my name is Ellen Brown. You can find me at Sensimia Seminars, and thank you for your time.
Absolutely. Averyl, where can we find you?
I don't know, I'm on Facebook. You can look up Between the Rose Farm, Averyl Andrade. Our produce farm is Healthy Futures Farm. Any of those places have pretty much all my information everywhere.
Absolutely. And y'all better know where to find me. If you don't, Deliciously Dope all over the fronts. Get a hold of me, Chef_Rodney_117 on Instagram. Go check out my peeps at My Canna Merch. Go check them out. It's for women, by women. It's absolutely amazing. It's here in Michigan. But yeah, I will see y'all next on the flip. I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.